How's it going, kiddos? Handsome Jack Boy here, bringing you guys the second episode of my Borderlands Dust Waste Weapon Guide. And in this episode, I'm going to be covering the Kovrov. The Kovrov is a Vladov machine gun, and the prefix for mine is AR430/V2 Frantic Kovrov. The prefix for you guys might change. Now, as you can see there in the red text, it says, "Accept no substitutes." So what's really nice here about covering these weapons is that I can always go to Grimjow if I need the exact specifics of, what makes up these weapons and what makes up the special effects for these weapons. So in this case, the Kovrov, it has a massive fire rate boost. My Kovrov has 19.4 fire rate, which is just crazy. The maximum fire rate, I believe, is 19.8. Now that's the part of this weapon that stands out the most, I feel. Another good thing about it is that if it spawns with an elemental effect, which this thing can, by the way, it tends to be better than your average purple Vladov machine gun. Another pro of this weapon is that the magazine size is slightly increased over your average Vladov purple machine gun. But every weapon with its pros has its cons, and the cons are probably pretty obvious with it having such a high fire rate. The accuracy isn't the best on this thing, and it has some pretty heavy recoil when you're just holding down the trigger and just spraying bullets everywhere. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm a pretty big fan of this weapon. I'm normally really into high fire weapons in general, especially machine guns, and this thing really suits my needs. I'm pretty sure I'm a really big fan of these high fire weapons because they require you to kind of get up close and personal, and that's just my style. I love getting up close and personal. I'm not really a fan of staying back. I like getting up in enemies' faces and just letting loose, and this gun is perfect for that. If you're like me and love getting up close, and this is the weapon for you. Even if you're more so a fan of staying back and sniping, you have to admit there's just something so satisfying about going up to your enemies and spraying them full of lead. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Even you sniper fanatics out there, gotta be a close quarters tank every once in a while, right? And this gun is definitely a go-to. But as you can see in this footage, I'm playing as Roland, which is typical. I'm normally playing as Roland. Don't worry though, I will every now and again play as Lilith to spice things up. I know there are other classes in this game. Roland, you have to admit, is kind of like that all-around class who you can show any weapon on, and it can do well. But this particular weapon with Roland is probably the best combination anyways, because of the fact that he can increase the fire even more with certain skills and class mods. The Heavy Gunner, for example, which I'll be pulling out right after this encounter, increases the fire rate even more, and it's just insane. And then I also have a kill skill which increases fire rates after each kill, so there's that as well. And the class mod, of course, increases skills that increase fire rate and increase magazine size. So Roland with this gun is the perfect combination. He also has a class mod which I didn't pull out in this footage, and I do have it. I should have pulled it out to demonstrate it, but I can't remember what it's called. I think it's the Rifleman class mod, which decreases recoil by quite a bit for combat rifles. That recoil reduction, trust me, is really handy for a weapon like this with such high recoil. It pretty much makes recoil unnoticeable when you pull that out. In my opinion, the pros outweigh the cons for sure. The cons definitely make sense though. I can see why they're there. The not so great accuracy and heavy recoil makes sense for a gun like this, but if you're playing as Roland, those cons are pretty much non-existent. You can compensate with certain skills and class mods that pretty much make those unnoticeable, and this gun is just straight up a beast. Anyways though, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'm out of here. Peace!